Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt, and today I wanted to talk about pattern recognition in language learning. And patterns are something that's really common when you're learning a language, and I think it's really important just to be aware that there are a lot of patterns out there and to just be on the lookout for them as you go about the process of learning a language. So, as you go about just learning, what you'll kind of find is that there's oftentimes just a ton of patterns that you can kind of just identify throughout the entire process itself. So for example, maybe you'll notice that just the spelling in the language that you're learning just kind of tends to follow certain rules as you learn more words, or as you read in a language, or as you listen. Maybe you kind of notice a couple of just rules and patterns with pronunciation. It can also apply with words. So for example, something that's very common that you'll see is that there's a word and then there's a lot of words that share the same stem and they have similar meaning. So you can kind of notice these patterns throughout various aspects of the language process, as you go about learning. You can also notice something in grammar, for example, where let's say you're memorizing a table, a declension table, or a case table or something like that, and you notice the endings kind of follow a certain pattern, and you can kind of create this pattern, this just kind of system to help memorize those kind of grammar concepts a little bit better. Or maybe you kind of recognize when certain adjectives are used kind of colloquially for that language, right? Or how certain greetings are used in kind of everyday language. There's a countless number of examples. But I think just the key is to be aware that there's a lot of patterns out there in the language process itself. And so, be on the lookout for those patterns and obviously kind of try to leverage them to learn the language itself. And I think that, kind of past the intermediate phase and into more of those advanced levels, you're just going to notice a lot of these patterns, and it's going to help you overall, right? Where you've just kind of seen the grammar in context enough times to the point where you just kind of can recognize these patterns and just kind of more often than not kind of guess the right grammar or guess the right pronunciation or something along those lines, as you just kind of get more experience and you've just noticed these patterns over time. And actually, in my opinion, the best way to kind of just see a lot of patterns in action is through compelling content. Particularly reading. Reading is a great way to just see grammar and context and to see words just in use, because you're going to see the language truly in action, right? You're going to see certain instances of how the grammar is used, and certain cases and certain examples are going to be kind of just coming up again and again. The same with certain words, right? Certain verbs that are used in certain contexts, certain adjectives, things like that, but also just compelling content. If you watch TV series or listen to podcasts from natives, things like that, you're going to kind of just notice all these different patterns. What is kind of what is typically used in terms of words, right, in colloquial speech, certain adjectives or verbs that are used in certain contexts, how to apply grammar, spelling rules, tons of things. So I think the key here is just to be aware that there is a ton of patterns throughout the entire language process. And as you go about it, you're going to just pick up some of these patterns along the way. And of course, as you go about learning, recognize that there are patterns and try to apply them to your language learning, right? Try to create associations with these things to help you learn better, right? Because if you can create associations with certain things, whether it's grammar concepts, vocabulary words, rules, whatever it is, that can help you to learn a little bit quicker and also just kind of make you feel a little bit more at ease when you're speaking, reading, or things like that. So I think it's really key and a great idea to kind of try to look for those associations and use them to help you to learn the language a lot better in the end of the day. So that's what I had to say. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.